All right, welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at a pretty interesting opportunity.
Yeah, this one's a big one.
Yeah, it is. It's a big one, and it's kind of complex.
A lot of moving pieces.
It is.
Got a lot to consider.
It is. We're looking at professional, technical, and medical support services,
Right.
otherwise known as PTMSS.
Catchy acronym.
It is a catchy acronym.
Yeah.
And we've got a few documents to take a look at. We've got the request for information.
The RSI.
Yeah, RFI.
Yeah.
And we also have,
A draft document.
yeah, other requirements.
Of what they're expecting.
Right. So that's pretty cool that we've got that, so we can kind of get ahead of things
Absolutely.
and figure out, what it's really going to take to bid on this and to win this thing.
Well, and that's the key.
Winning. Winning, not just bidding.
Right.
You got to win.
That's right. So let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
One of the things that really struck me right off the bat
Oh, yeah.
was the urgency. They're not messing around with this one.
They're not.
It's urgent.
They say right in the document, quote, "The ASPR mission will be critically compromised without the ability to recruit and retain needed support services."
So let's unpack that a little bit for our listeners.
Yeah.
What is ASPR?
Right.
That's the Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response.
Yeah, okay.
And they're the folks who deal with public health emergencies
Right.
and disasters.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal.
This is very important.
They need support to do their jobs, and that's what this contract is all about.
That's right. And it's not just, one or two little things. It's a whole laundry list.
18 to be exact.
Yeah, that's right. They have 18 contractor professional support areas.
And they're very specific.
They are.
Very specific areas.
Yeah, like, for example, biomedical business planning and
Yeah.
strategy,
Yes.
security operations management and intelligence.
Public health emergency response communications.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
So what does all that tell us?
Well, it tells me they're looking for a team that can handle pretty much anything.
Right.
It could involve anything from scientific research to cybersecurity to, crisis communications.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards.
So if you're a company thinking about bidding on this,
Right.
you really need to be able to show them that you can do it all.
You got to have the reins.
The range, the experience.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think a tool like ProposalHelper could really come in handy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right. We've talked about ProposalHelper before
We have.
on this show.
Yeah.
And this seems like a situation where it would be really valuable.
Especially with a government contract this complex.
Right, because it's not just about submitting a proposal.
No.
You have to tell a story.
You got to grab their attention.
Right, you got to stand out from the competition.
Absolutely.
You got to have that wow factor.
Exactly.
Right. So how does ProposalHelper actually help with that?
Well, think of it as your strategic guide through the whole process. It helps you break down those requirements, organize your thoughts, make sure you're addressing all those little evaluation factors.
That's right. The government loves those evaluation factors.
Well, you're obsessed with them.
They are.
But you know what the best part is?
What?
It even gives you templates and examples so you're not starting from scratch.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like having a proposal expert right there on your team,
Right.
guiding you every step of the way.
I like that, so it takes the guesswork out of it.
Exactly.
Okay, but before we even get to writing that amazing proposal,
Right.
we need to know if this opportunity is even right for your company.
That's a good point.
Right. And I remember you talking about bid execs.
Oh, yeah.
How could that help at this stage?
Bid execs is all about getting ahead of the game.
Okay.
It's a powerful tool for market research,
Uh-huh.
opportunity identification.
Okay.
You can track potential contracts, analyze trends, and identify opportunities that really align with what your company does well.
I see. So you're saying, like, if a company specializes in public health emergency communications,
Right.
they could use bid execs to see if ASPR is planning any contracts related to that.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can set up alerts for specific keywords, agencies, you name it.
Wow. So it's like a radar system
That's a good way to put it.
for government contracts.
You're scanning the horizon for those opportunities.
That's really cool.
It gives you a head start.
It does, because in this environment, things move quickly.
Very quickly.
You got to be ready.
You gotta be ready to jump.
All right. So back to PTMSS.
All right, let's dive back in.
We know the need is urgent. The scope is huge.
Yeah, that's broad.
What else should companies be thinking about?
Well, they mentioned a NAICS code in the document,
Oh, yeah.
541990.
And why is that important?
Well, that sets the size standard for this contract, which is $19.5 million in annual revenue.
Okay.
So a company needs to be big enough to handle that kind of money.
Right. So you can't be a tiny little mom and pop shop trying to bid on this.
You need to have some experience and some capacity.
Right. But it's not just about size, is it?
No, it's not just about size.
Where's...
The government might set this contract aside.
Oh, yeah.
For certain types of businesses, like small businesses or women-owned small businesses.
Right. Or veteran-owned.
Exactly. So knowing where your company fits in
is very important.
That landscape is crucial.
Yeah. Before you even start.
Exactly.
You need to know if you're eligible.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you've got your size figured out. You know where you fit in.
Right.
How do you convince the government that you're the best choice for this PTMSS contract?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Well, that's where that capability statement comes in.
Right, we talked about that earlier.
We did.
And it's got to be good.
It's got to be compelling.
Yeah, it's not just a summary of your experience.
No.
It's more than that.
It's a strategic document. It's about highlighting those projects, those experiences that are most relevant and proving that you can deliver.
Okay, so you're showing them what, you're showing them what you can do.
Exactly.
But there's more to it than that, right?
There is another piece.
What is it?
It's called the Quality Assurance Surveillance Plan.
Okay, QASP.
QASP, that's right.
That's a mouthful, too.
Yeah, but it's an important one.
So tell me more about this QASP. What is it?
It's basically your plan for how you'll measure success.
Okay.
And how you'll ensure quality throughout the contract.
Interesting.
It's about anticipating the government's needs.
Right.
And showing that you understand their expectations.
So you're addressing their concerns before they even bring them up.
Precisely.
I like that. Be proactive.
Proactive, that's the key.
Okay, so a well-crafted QASP
Oh, yeah.
could really set you apart.
Absolutely. It shows you're not just interested in winning.
Right.
You're committed to delivering
the goods.
Delivering exceptional results.
That's what they want to see.
That's what they want to hear.
Okay, so we've talked about size, eligibility, a strong capability statement, a solid QASP.
We're hitting all the points.
What else do we need to know to navigate this PTMSS opportunity?
Well, before you even think about submitting that proposal,
Right.
There's one fundamental step.
What's that?
SAM registration.
Ah, yes, sam.gov.
SAM.gov, the gateway to doing business with the federal government.
Right.
And the document specifically says you need to be registered in SAM.gov even to respond to the RFI.
Oh, wow. So this is not optional.
Not at all.
So for those who don't know, what is sam.gov and why is it so important?
Think of it as your company's online profile for the federal government.
Like your digital resume.
That's a great analogy.
So you're putting your best foot forward.
Absolutely.
For Uncle Sam.
That's right. You're telling them all about your business, your legal structure, financials, points of contact. It's got to be accurate and up to date.
Right. Just like a resume. You don't want to have any typos in there.
No typos.
Or outdated information.
You got to keep it fresh.
Because without SAM registration,
right,
you can't bid on contracts.
You can't receive awards.
You can't get paid.
That's the worst part.
That is the worst part.
You can do all the work in the world.
Yeah.
But if you're not registered in SAM, you're not getting paid.
So SAM registration, check. All right, let's talk about the people.
Okay, the boots on the ground.
Right, because this PTMSS contract is all about providing personnel.
Right, it's a personnel-heavy contract.
So what are they looking for in terms of the team?
They're looking for a team that's not just qualified, but dedicated to the mission.
Okay.
And they highlight two key personnel roles in the document.
Okay, who are they?
The Senior Contractor Program Manager.
Okay, the SCPM.
That's right, the SCPM.
Right.
And the Contractor Program Manager, the CPM.
Okay, so two different levels of program management.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The SCPM is like the captain of the ship, overseeing everything. The CPM is more hands-on, managing the day-to-day operations.
All right, so what about experience?
Well, both roles have minimum experience requirements.
Okay.
Which tells me they're looking for people who've been there, done that.
Right. Seasoned professionals.
Seasoned professionals, exactly.
And not just any seasoned professionals.
Yeah.
They want
letters of commitment.
Letters of commitment from these individuals.
That's right.
Wow, so they're really making sure
they're serious about this.
That the A-team is ready to go.
Absolutely. They want assurances.
So they're not just evaluating the company.
No.
They're evaluating the leadership.
They want to know who's leading the charge.
Right. And what about the rest of the team?
Well, they don't need resumes for every single person.
Okay.
but they do want to see representative resumes
Well-
for those non-key personnel.
Got it.
It's about showing them the depth and breadth of your talent pool.
Right, showing them you've got bench strength
Exactly.
so you can staff this contract effectively.
They need to know you've got the resources.
All right, so it's kind of like a talent showcase,
It is a talent showcase.
but for government contracting.
You're putting your best talent forward.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the timeline.
Okay, time is of the essence.
It is, because they mentioned a transition period
It did?
of 30, 60, or 90 days.
That's a tight turnaround.
It is, especially if you're taking over from another company.
Right, you got to hit the ground running.
You do.
Minimize disruption, ensure that knowledge transfer happens smoothly.
Yeah,
A solid transition plan is essential.
so no time to celebrate.
Nope, straight to work.
Straight to work. All right, speaking of execution,
Let's talk logistics.
the document mentions something called government furnished equipment.
GFE. Yep, GFE.
Government furnished equipment.
So what's the deal with that?
Well, this is where we need to differentiate between on-site and off-site contractors.
Okay.
On-site contractors, the folks working at government facilities.
Right. They'll get the standard setup, laptops, phones,
Okay,
access to government systems and information.
got it.
Off-site contractors, though, they're responsible for their own equipment and workspaces.
So if you're working from home,
You're using your own stuff.
you got to bring your own tools to the job.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense. But regardless of location,
Right.
one thing that applies to everybody
Absolutely.
is handling sensitive information.
Oh, yeah. That's crucial.
The document emphasizes protecting procurement-sensitive
And privileged data.
data, right?
That's right.
So why is that such a big deal?
Well, it's all about trust
Okay,
and responsibility.
right.
The government is entrusting contractors with valuable information,
Yeah.
often confidential information,
Uh-huh.
and mishandling that data
Right.
could have serious consequences.
For everybody involved.
For everyone, for the government, for the contractor.
So it's not just about getting the job done.
No,
It's about getting it done the right way.
securely and responsibly. Securely and responsibly. Okay, and while we're on the topic of security,
Right.
what about security clearances?
Yes, the clearances.
Are those required for this PTMSS contract?
Well, it depends on the specific task order.
All right.
The document lays out different clearance levels, potentially going all the way up to top secret SCI,
Okay, and that's like,
the highest level of security clearance in the U.S. government.
wow.
Yeah, this is serious business.
So the security stakes could be pretty high.
They could be very high.
And speaking of high stakes,
What else?
let's talk about reporting.
The paperwork.
Right, because this document outlines some pretty rigorous reporting requirements.
They do like their reports.
They do.
Biweekly performance reports,
Okay.
monthly report,
Monthly.
an annual report.
Pretty well.
And then you've got your specialized reports, like for tracking GFE and monitoring for conflicts of interest.
Yeah, and COI and OCI, it seems like a lot.
It's a lot of paperwork.
Right, so why all the reports? What's the point?
Well, it's all about accountability.
And transparency,
Makes sense.
which are super important in government contracting.
Right. The government wants to know what's going on.
They want to stay informed, track progress.
See if there are any issues.
Absolutely. They want to make sure everything is running smoothly.
Okay, so it's not just about doing the work.
No,
It's about documenting it, tracking it,
communicating it effectively.
communicating it. Transparency is key.
Transparency is paramount.
But let's be honest, this PTMSS contract sounds pretty demanding.
That's not a cakewalk, that's for sure.
Right, we've got a tight timeline, a broad scope of services,
High security requirements.
rigorous reporting.
It's a lot to handle.
So is this even realistic for most companies?
Well, it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
Right.
This opportunity is for companies that are serious about government contracting
Okay.
and willing to put in the work to do it right.
The effort.
The effort.
And that's where I think tools like ProposalHelper and BidExec
Oh, yeah.
could really make a difference.
They can be game changers.
So remind us how those tools can help companies navigate this complex world of government contracting.
Well, let's start with ProposalHelper.
Okay.
It's more than just a proposal writing tool.
Right.
It's like having a strategic partner by your side.
Okay.
Imagine a guide
Yeah.
walking you through every step of the process, making sure you don't miss anything,
Right.
that you address all the requirements and present your information in a compelling way.
In a way that the government understands.
Exactly, and in a way that makes you stand out.
Right, because you're competing against other companies.
Oh, yeah, it's a competition.
So you got to be the best.
You got to be the best.
So ProposalHelper helps you do that.
It helps you organize your thoughts,
Okay.
develop a clear and persuasive narrative,
Okay.
and really showcase your qualifications.
All right. So it helps you put your best foot forward.
Exactly. And don't forget, it can also help you collaborate with your team.
Oh, that's important.
Very important.
Yeah, because you're not doing this alone.
No, you need a team.
Right. And ProposalHelper can help you get everyone on the same page.
Keeps everyone organized and working together.
I like it.
So you can submit a winning proposal.
And then we have bid execs.
Bid execs, your secret weapon.
Right, which we talked about earlier.
We did. It's all about early opportunity identification.
Okay.
It helps you track potential contracts, analyze trends, find those opportunities that match your company's sweet spot.
Right, before they're even public knowledge.
That's the key.
So you're getting a head start.
You're ahead of the game.
I like it. So you could have identified this PTMSS opportunity weeks ago
Maybe even months ago.
using bid execs.
Exactly, giving you more time to prepare.
And the more time you have.
The better your chances of winning.
That's right. So ProposalHelper helps you craft a winning proposal.
Absolutely.
And bid execs helps you find those opportunities in the first place.
They're a powerful duo.
They are. They're essential tools.
Essential for anyone serious about government contracting.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We've been deep diving.
We've talked about the need, the scope, the key personnel,
the
security, the tools.
The whole shebang.
We even talked about how ProposalHelper and bid execs can give companies an edge.
That's right. Give them that competitive advantage.
But I have a feeling we're not quite done yet.
Oh, there's always more to consider.
There is. What else should a potential bidder keep in mind as they're evaluating this PTMSS opportunity?
Well, one thing we haven't touched on yet,
What's that?
subcontracting.
Subcontracting, right.
The document mentions that any subcontracts require prior written consent from the contracting officer.
Right. So you can't just go out and hire whoever you want.
You got to get approval.
You got to get the government's blessing.
Exactly.
And they're also looking for a subcontracting plan
That's part of the evaluation.
as part of the evaluation. So even if you're a large company,
Right.
you might need to bring in some partners
Fill those gaps.
to fill those gaps in your expertise.
Absolutely.
It's about building the best team possible.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
Putting together the A-team.
Even if it goes beyond your own company walls.
Exactly. And that collaborative approach
Yeah.
can really make you stand out.
Right.
It shows the government you're not just focused on your own company.
You're focused on the mission.
You're focused on the mission, on delivering the best possible solution.
And that's what they want to see.
Absolutely.
They want to see that commitment to the mission.
They want to know you're in it to win it for them.
All right. So this has been a really insightful deep dive.
We've gone deep
We've gone deep.
into the world of PTMSS.
Right. We've explored the challenges, the potential rewards.
It's a complex opportunity.
It is. But it's clear that ASPR needs skilled and dedicated partners
They do.
to support their very important mission.
Absolutely. Protecting the nation's health.
Right.
That's a big responsibility.
It is.
And they need the best of the best to help them do it.
So for companies that are up for the challenge,
Right. The ones who are ready to step up.
this could be a really big opportunity.
It could be game-changing.
It could be. So if you're listening to this
Right.
and you're even a little bit interested in this PTMSS contract,
Yeah.
take a look at the documents that we provided.
Do your homework.
Right. Because there's a ton of information there.
Tons of details.
And the more you understand,
the better prepared you'll be
right,
to make a strategic decision.
to bid or not to bid.
That is the question.
That is the question. And remember,
That's that.
this deep dive.
It's just a starting point.
It is. It's a spark.
A spark to ignite your own analysis.
Your own exploration.
To think about your company's strengths. Think about potential partners.
Right. Who can complement your strengths?
Right.
Fill those gaps.
And then dive into those documents
dive deep.
with a strategic mindset.
That's the key to success.
And who knows, maybe your company
Right.
will be the one helping ASPR
Yeah.
protect the nation from future public health threats. That's a rewarding thought.
It is. That's something to be proud of.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of PTMSS.
It's been a pleasure.
It has. Until next time, keep exploring
Keep learning
and keep diving deep.
deep. It's like your digital handshake with Uncle Sam.
I like that.
It's where you provide all the essential information about your business,
Yeah.
your legal structure, financial details, points of contact.
So it's like creating a resume,
Yeah,
but for your entire company.
that's a good way to put it. And just like a resume,
Right.
it needs to be accurate.
Of course.
up to date. Without SAM registration, you can't bid on contracts, you can't receive awards, you can't even get paid.
Right. It's the foundation for doing business with the government.
It's the absolute foundation.
Okay, SAM registration.
Check.
Check. Now let's talk about the people.
Okay, the people who will actually be doing the work.
Right, because this PTMSS contract is all about providing personnel, right?
Right, it's personnel heavy.
So what are they looking for in terms of the team?
Well, they're looking for a team that's not just qualified, but also dedicated.
Dedicated to the mission.
Dedicated to mission, exactly. And the document actually highlights 2 key personnel roles.
Okay, who are those?
The senior contractor program manager.
The SCPM?
The SCPM, that's right. And the contractor program manager, the CPM.
Okay, so 2 different levels of program management.
Exactly. The SCPM is kind of like the captain of the ship.
Okay.
Overseeing the entire project, the CPM is more hands-on, managing the day-to-day operations.
Okay, so you've got your strategic level and your tactical level.
Precisely.
Got it. And what about experience? Are they looking for seasoned veterans, or is there room for up-and-coming talent?
Well, both roles have minimum experience requirements.
Okay.
So that tells me they're looking for people who have a proven track record.
Right. Like they've been there, done that.
Exactly. And here's the interesting part. The government wants to see letters of commitment from these individuals.
Oh, wow. So it's not enough to just say, yeah, we've got someone who can do that.
Yeah. No, they want to see it in writing.
They want a guarantee.
They want to know that these key individuals are dedicated to the project.
So it's like they're saying, show us you've got the A-team locked and loaded.
Absolutely. They're not messing around.
So they're really scrutinizing not just the company as a whole,
Yeah.
but the leadership.
They want to make sure the leadership is up to par.
That makes sense. And what about the rest of the team? Do they need resumes for every single person who might be involved?
Not necessarily everyone, but they do want to see representative resumes for those non-key personnel.
Okay, so it's kind of like a sample.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating the depth and breadth of your company's talent pool.
Right, showing them you've got the bench strength to handle this contract.
Exactly. They need to know you have the resources to staff this effectively.
Okay, so it's like a talent showcase, but for government contracting.
You're putting your best talent forward.
Got it. You need to prove you've got the right people for the job, from the top down. Now, let's talk about the timeline for a minute. This document mentions a transition period of 30, 60, or 90 days.
Yeah, that's a tight turnaround.
It is, especially if you're taking over from an incumbent contractor.
Right. You need to minimize disruption, ensure knowledge transfer, and hit the ground running.
So there's no time for a victory lap.
No time to celebrate. You got to get straight to work.
Straight to execution mode. And speaking of execution, the document also mentions government-furnished equipment, or GFE.
GFE, yep, government-furnished equipment.
So what's the deal with that?
Well, this is where the distinction between on-site and off-site contractors comes into play.
Okay.
On-site contractors, those working at government facilities.
Right.
They'll be provided with the standard setup, laptops, phones, access to government systems and information.
Okay, so they've got everything they need.
Everything they need right there at their fingertips.
But off-site contractors?
Off-site contractors are responsible for their own equipment and workspaces.
So if you're working from home, you're using your own computer, your own internet, all that?
Exactly. You're bringing your own tools to the job.
Okay, makes sense. But regardless of location,
right,
one thing that applies to everyone is handling sensitive information.
Oh, absolutely. That's paramount.
The document emphasizes the importance of protecting procurement-sensitive and privileged data.
Right. That's not something to be taken lightly.
So why is that such a big deal? Why all the emphasis on data security?
Well, it's about trust and responsibility. The government is entrusting contractors with valuable information.
Right. They're giving you access to things that most people don't get to see.
Exactly. And often this information is confidential, sensitive in nature.
So you can't just be careless with it.
No, mishandling that data could have serious consequences, both for the government and for the contractor.
So it's not just about getting the job done. It's about getting it done securely and responsibly.
Exactly. You have to be mindful of the security implications.
And speaking of security, what about security clearances?
The clearances, yeah.
Are those required for this PTMSS contract?
That depends on the specific task order. The document lays out different clearance levels, potentially going all the way up to top secret SCI.
And remind us what top secret SCI means.
That's the highest level of security clearance in the U.S. government.
Wow, so we're talking about some serious stuff here.
Very serious. This is not your average government contract.
So the security stakes could be pretty high.
They could be very high, depending on the specific task order.
Okay, and speaking of high stakes, Let's talk about reporting for a minute.
Ah, the paperwork. Everyone's favorite part.
Right, because this document outlines some pretty rigorous reporting requirements.
They do love their reports.
They do. Biweekly performance reports, monthly reports, an annual report, not to mention specialized reports like GFE tracking and monitoring for conflicts of interest.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is. So why all the reports? What's the point of all this documentation?
Well, it all comes down to accountability and transparency.
Okay, which are essential in government contracting.
Absolutely. The government wants to stay informed about the progress of the contract, track any potential issues, and make sure everything is running smoothly.
So it's not just about doing the work. It's about documenting it, tracking it, and communicating it effectively.
Transparency is key.
Transparency is key, and it's not just about keeping the government happy.
Right.
This level of rigor also protects the contractor.
Absolutely. Imagine a situation where a project goes off track, or there's a dispute about deliverables.
Right. Things happen.
Things happen, and having meticulous records can be invaluable in resolving those issues fairly and effectively.
So it's a win-win. It protects both sides.
Exactly. It's about ensuring that everyone is on the same page and that everything is documented properly.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of reporting, the need for transparency.
And accountability.
But let's be honest. This PTMSS contract sounds incredibly demanding.
It's not for the faint at heart, that's for sure.
We've got a tight timeline, a broad scope of services, high security requirements, and rigorous reporting.
It's a lot to handle.
So is this even realistic for most companies?
Well, it's definitely not a walk in the park.
Right.
This opportunity is for companies that are serious about government contracting and willing to put in the effort to do it right.
The effort, the resources, the dedication.
All of the above.
And that's where I think tools like ProposalHelper and bid execs can really make a difference.
Oh, absolutely. They can be game changers in this environment.
So remind us again how those tools can help a company navigate this complex landscape.
Sure, let's start with ProposalHelper.
Okay.
It's more than just a proposal writing tool. It's like having a strategic partner by your side.
Okay, I like that analogy.
It walks you through every step of the process, ensuring you address all the requirements and present your information in a compelling and compliant way.
So it's not just about checking boxes. It's about crafting a proposal that really stands out.
Exactly, because you're competing against other highly qualified companies.
Right. You need to differentiate yourself.
You need to show the government why you're the best choice.
And ProposalHelper helps you do that.
It helps you organize your thoughts, develop a clear and persuasive narrative, and present your qualifications in the best possible light.
So it's like having a proposal expert on your team, guiding you every step of the way.
Precisely. And don't forget, it can also help you collaborate with your team more effectively.
Right, because proposal writing is rarely a solo effort.
Exactly. It takes a team. And ProposalHelper can help keep everyone on the same page, organized, and working together efficiently.
That's crucial, especially when you're under a tight deadline.
Absolutely. Time is of the essence in government contracting.
And then we have bid execs, which we touched on earlier.
Ah, bid execs, your secret weapon for early opportunity identification.
Right. Remind us how that fits into the picture.
Bid execs helps you track potential contracts, analyze trends, and identify opportunities that align with your company's capabilities long before they become public knowledge.
So you're getting a head start on the competition.
Exactly. You're seeing what's coming down the pipeline before everyone else.
That's incredibly valuable in this fast-paced world of government contracting.
It is. And by using bid execs, you could have identified this PTMSS opportunity weeks, maybe even months ago.
Giving you ample time to prepare and develop a winning strategy.
Precisely. Time is your friend in government contracting, and bid execs helps you maximize that time.
So to recap, ProposalHelper helps you craft a compelling proposal that showcases your strengths.
And bid execs helps you find those golden opportunities in the first place.
They're a powerful duo, essential tools for any company serious about winning government contracts.
Absolutely. They can make all the difference in a competitive bidding process.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the urgent need, the broad scope of services, the importance of key personnel, the demanding timeline, the security considerations, and the rigorous reporting requirements.
We've really gone deep into the details of this PTMSS opportunity.
We have, and we've even explored how tools like ProposalHelper and bid execs can give companies a competitive edge.
Right. They can be invaluable resources for companies navigating this complex landscape.
But I have a feeling we're not quite done yet.
There's always more to consider.
There is. What else should a potential bidder keep in mind as they're evaluating this PTMSS opportunity?
Well, one thing we haven't touched on yet is subcontracting.
Ah, subcontracting, right? because no company can do everything.
Exactly. And the document specifically states that any subcontracts require prior written consent from the contracting officer.
So you can't just go out and hire subcontractors without getting the government's approval.
You need to get their blessing first.
And they're also looking for a subcontracting plan as part of the evaluation criteria.
That's right. They want to see how you plan to leverage subcontractors to enhance your capabilities.
But even if you're a large company, you might need to bring in partners to fill specific gaps in your expertise.
Absolutely. It's about building the best team possible, even if it goes beyond your own company walls.
It's about recognizing your limitations and finding the right partners to complement your strengths.
Exactly. And that collaborative approach can be a real differentiator in a competitive bidding process.
It shows the government that you're not just focused on your own bottom line. You're committed to assembling the best possible team to support their mission.
And that commitment can really shine through in your proposal when you articulate those partnerships, when you demonstrate how those collaborations will enhance your ability to deliver results.
It's about showing them that you're in it for the mission, not just the contract.
Precisely. And that's a message that resonates with government agencies.
All right, so this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive.
We've really gone deep into the PTMSS opportunity, exploring both the challenges and the potential rewards.
And it's clear that this PTMSS contract is not for the faint of heart. It's a demanding opportunity, but one with the potential to make a real difference.
Absolutely. It's a chance to contribute to a vital mission, to protect the nation's health and well-being.
And for companies that are up for the challenge, this could be a game-changing opportunity.
It could be a chance to really showcase their expertise and make a lasting impact.
So if you're listening to this, and you're even remotely interested in this PTMSS contract,
Do your research.
take a look at the source documents we provided. There's a wealth of information there. And the more you understand the details, the better prepared you'll be to make a strategic decision.
Remember, this deep dive is just a starting point. It's a spark to ignite your own exploration and analysis.
Think about your company's core strengths. Think about potential partners who could complement those strengths, and then dive into those documents with a strategic mindset.
That's the key to success in government contracting.
And who knows, maybe your company will be the one helping ASPR protect the nation from future public health threats. That's something to be proud of.
It is indeed a truly rewarding opportunity for the right company. It's a demanding opportunity, but one with the potential to make a real difference.
It is. It's clear that ASPR needs skilled and dedicated partners
They do.
to support their vital mission, and for companies that are up for the challenge.
Right, the ones who are ready to really dive in.
This could be a game-changing opportunity.
Absolutely, a chance to step up and make a real impact.
So if you're listening to this,
Yeah,
and you're even remotely interested in this PTMSS contract,
even a little bit.
I strongly encourage you to take a look at the source documents we provided.
Yeah, check them out.
There's a wealth of information there.
A ton of detail.
And the more you understand the details,
Right.
the better prepared you'll be to make a strategic decision.
To bid or not to bid?
Exactly. That is the question.
That is the question.
And remember, this deep dive,
Right.
it's just a starting point.
It's a jumping off point.
It's a spark to ignite your own analysis.
Your own exploration.
So think about your company's strengths.
What are you good at?
Right. What do you bring to the table?
And where might you need some help?
Right. Think about potential partners.
Who can fill those gaps?
Exactly. And then dive into those documents
Dive deep.
with a strategic mindset.
That's the key.
That's how you win government contracts.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe your company
Yeah.
will be the one helping ASPR protect the nation.
From those public health threats.
That's something to be proud of.
It is a truly rewarding opportunity.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of PTMSS.
It's been a pleasure.
It has. Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep learning.
Keep diving deep.
Deep.